infrastructure able to accommodate these people. The University of Fort Hare, Honorable Speaker, through you, is currently experiencing serious leadership crisis. The infrastructure is dilapidating in that university. Unfortunately, your government spoke nothing about this university, and you showed no interest to assist this particular university. I do not know, Honorable Speaker, whether is it because the university refused to give the master's degree gopocho. So, to certain individuals, I won't mention someone because you will say I'm personal. I have no personal interest to anyone. I must be clear on that. As citizens of the Eastern Cape, we ask ourselves, what do you really stand for? Historically, kings, izakuthi, chiefs, and traditional institutions, ibisoloko in a role eyidlalayo either government and in the society, but your government seems to be less interested in developing those institutions and ensuring that they have enough tools of trade, they have enough support, as other honorable members have alluded before me, that that institution is completely ignored. I do not know whether they are ignored by the same person who is accused of owing Walter Sisulu 210,000. So we don't know. I'm just assuming that there is an ignorant person who is supposed to lead that department who is not doing anything. Currently, with all the challenges the Eastern Cape is facing, municipalities that are getting audit opinions yearly, there are people who come here and claim that everything is well with the municipalities in the Eastern Cape. There are 39 municipalities in the Eastern Cape that are struggling to have to render services to the people, only because they are in dire financial crisis. Currently, the Eastern Cape is continuously a home for all.
Can I rise on a point of order, Honourable Speaker?
Thank you very much, Honourable
Yes,
Williams.
yes, Honourable
Your
Speaker.
time is saved, Honourable Member.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, I would like to raise a point of order on the allegations the member is riding on, made by Honourable Knutse. And I would like, in terms of Rule 97, to request the Deputy Speaker to examine the transcript around that particular allegation and later make a ruling on that particular matter as the plenary continues. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honourable Williams. Right on that procedure, we shall follow the matter and report back to the plenary. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honourable Deputy Speaker. Currently, the Treasury withholds some grants to the certain municipality only because these municipalities fail to comply with the requirements of the Treasury. Because no one comprehends. But Honourable Premier, while we face all these challenges, we hoped that you were supposed to have steered the ship to the right direction. We have seen that you have dedicated most of your time contesting to be the deputy president of your own party. But unfortunately enough, the delegates of your own party rejected you. And then we must ask ourselves, why must we also keep you? Because even the delegates of your own party feel that you are not capable for anything. You are not capable to be promoted to anything. Your speech provided no sound solution to the highest unemployment rate, which has engulfed the Eastern Cape and standing tall at above 45%. The unemployment rate in the Eastern Cape has continued to skyrocket out of control. Nearly half of the employable people of the Eastern Cape cannot find jobs. The dishonorable premier dismally failed to address the simplest things such as abnormal use of alcohol, in the province, which has led to the death of many young people in the Enyobeni. The delinquent premier deliberately hijacked the private sector plan
Sorry,
on the
Honorable
job.
Member, your time is saved. Honorable Saziwa, on what rule are you raising your hand?
97.
Thank
Once
you.
again, Honorable Deputy Speaker, whilst we appreciate the fact that the member is delivering a maiden speech, but it doesn't give him a license to, to undermine our rules. He cannot say the Premier is dishonorable. He must withdraw that statement. If he fails, then that matter must be investigated.
I withdraw.
Okay.
Yes, I withdraw that the premier must be definitely honorable, but not, okay. The premier is honorable. But the premier, ithathe is a private sector plan, iklima into kokubana plan yayo in create jobs. However, the EFF is not shocked by the sentiments of the premier because the ANC government has already categorically stated that it is not its responsibility to create jobs. This has affirmed the long-standing statement of the EFF that the ANC has assigned the white capitalist establishment the responsibility to create of the creation of jobs. Honorable Premier, you have failed to present a clear plan of addressing the infrastructure backlog in the province. Currently, the state of the roads are extremely dangerous with potholes all over. All members before me have spoken seriously about that, and there is no appetite by any of the people who responded from your benches to say these are the interventions that they are going to do. There is an estimated 586 mud structures in the Eastern Cape. The Premier seems to be less interested in taking the province into confidence about the intervention plan that he has in dealing with the mud structures in our school. The Premier saw no need to update the people of Eastern Cape on the announcement of the former MEC of Public Works on the revamp of Amatola San. The announcement gave the hope to the people of the province as this 3 billion worthy project seemed to be promising a huge number of jobs and revitalization of our economy. The upgrade would include the Upmarket Conference Center, a golf course, hotel accommodation, and a casino and housing development for Bishop workers around the hotel precinct. This requires a provincial government that is serious about developing the province, serious about policy research and development, and bold in taking up opportunities for the development. The Eastern Cape is not a lost case. It is a sleeping giant, lulled to sleep by the unimaginative leadership it has been cursed with since 1994. We are still cursed with that leadership. As the EFF, we can wake it up. We can make the Eastern Cape a model for the rest of the country to follow. This will unfortunately not happen until EFF is elected to power. Only the EFF can liberate the people of this province from this poverty of ideas of the ruling party. The EFF will continue to fight for the land. The EFF will continue to fight for the land expropriation without compensation and the nationalization of strategic sectors of the economy, as this is the only way that will build industries in all parts of the Eastern Cape, build infrastructure and create jobs. Everyone has been speaking on the firms that were closed and many other issues that have been there, but no one is able to speak clearly on what are the intervention plans, especially on those who sit with the executive, on those who are in the side of the ruling party. No one is able to tell us, as the people of the Eastern Cape, what are the interventions that are there, are ready to be done, except theoretical imagination that we have since listened to ever since this premier has became the premier. Lastly, the EFF invite all progressive unions, associations, professionals, faith-based organizations, to join the national shutdown on the 20th March to protest against continued load shedding that just affected us now. We call for the President Cyril Ramaphosa to resign with immediate effect. On that call, we are clear. Akukho bantwana baya msebenzini, akukho bantu badala baya esikolweni. So we are clear, there is a shutdown in the Eastern Cape. The Eastern Cape will be shut down and no one will stop that. You can stop it in PE, where you tried to stop the things of looting. We disagreed with those things, but the shutdown is a call by a progressive leftist movement that every corner of this country must be shut down. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I will invite Democratic Alliance, Honorable Kasim, 10 minutes.
Save my time, Speaker. Save my time.
Yes, your time is saved.
Please.
You haven't started. Honorable Banga, on what point or rule? Order 97.
I think I agree with certain members of the House who have stated that we need to guide what a maiden speech is. That a maiden speech should not be used to insult members of parliament. And in particular, insulting the people of the Eastern Cape. And I'm touched with the statement that have been said, that there are people who think they can wake up under the difficulties that our people in the Eastern Cape are faced with and call for anarchy and disorder in this country. Because we cannot allow that, as our communities continue to ban schools of our children, that there are people who are going to say they are going to stop the school functioning of our children, and we just keep quiet. As a Democratic Alliance, if they're going to do that, we must make sure that we use all state securities to make sure that we protect our children.
Thank you very much. Honourable members, indeed, I think it's just advisable on a point of being moderate. No, just to conclude this point, it was a point of order. Just to advise members that when we are saying it's maiden, we expect acceptance by all. Hence, we always say there must be no disturbance. But this is a house. We understand that things are hot. But I think, Honourable Premier, the matter of looking for that threat that has been pointed here must be attended. But I think in terms of the rules of the House, we will also check the correctness of that. Thank you very much. But as no tulisa, because the democracy is usifumela sithi umuntu angathethi into ayicinga sizawuyazi. Honourable B and Honourable Venner.
I was up first.
Yes, it doesn't matter, I'm going to speak.
Honourable Speaker, this House is ruled by rules and conventions, and a maiden speech by tradition doesn't get interrupted, but there is a condition that a maiden speech in a parliament is not meant to be controversial in any way. Thank you.
Very much. Honourable Venner.
No, thanks, Speaker. And I just wanted to rise on a point of order. Peacefully, 97. I want you to protect the member. He never said he's going to stop kids from going to school. He never said that. He said no children will go to work. No person will go to school. He never said he was going to stop People must listen carefully.
Okay.
Spin doctor.
Thank you very much.
The premier was listening, he just said, he accept that thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Honorable Kasim, can I invite you to address the House? We shall follow in terms of the rules, all what have been said here, and tomorrow we will clarify those rules and the direction. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker. Honorable Deputy Speaker, I greet you with the universal greeting of peace. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Honorable Deputy Speaker, through you to the Premier, the State of the Province debate today should be about honest and constructive engagement, so that in your response tomorrow, hopefully you would have heard constructive ideas of how we can ensure that we fix the services that our province provides and our municipalities, how we can ensure that we can deal with the challenges facing our people around healthcare, education, jobs, infrastructure, and so forth. But through you, Honorable Deputy Speaker, what we saw in return to some of our advices was dishonest mudslinging. Let me start with the Honorable Lobisha. The Honorable Lobisha states very confidently here at this podium that we must start with firing the Honorable Mayor Retief Odendaal, who, according to her, has failed to spend grant funding and provide services to our people in Nelson Mandela Bay. Now let's examine the facts, Honorable Lobisha, through you, Deputy Speaker. The grant funding under expenditure was for the 2022 financial year, which ended in June. You do know, Honorable Lobisha, that the financial year of a municipality ends in June. When the municipal financial year ended, the Honorable Odendaal was one of your members in this House. The mayor who presided over an under expenditure of 242.3 million rand in conditional grants is none other than ANC former Mayor Eugene Jig Johnson. And if we were being honest, Honorable Deputy Speaker, when Mayor Retief Odendaal was the MMC for Budget and Treasury in the 2 years where the DA ended the financial year in the mayoral seat, 2017 and 2018, that government spent 100% of conditional grant funding, which resulted in National Treasury awarding the city with an additional 174 million in 2017 and 200 million in 2018. I say to you through the Deputy Speaker, Honorable Lobisha, Amilcar Cabral, tell no lies, claim no easy victories.
That's like you in
Honorable
Cape Town.
Deputy Speaker, it's important that we examine some other...
Sorry, Honorable Member, there is a hand. Honorable Lobisha?
Save my time, please.
It's saved.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I would like to ask whether is the member prepared to take a question?
No, you've had your chance. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, I want to make
No,
clear-
thank you.
He is not prepared,
Yes.
Honorable Member.
Okay.
On a point of order, Speaker, Rule 95.
Honorable Werner, on what rule?
90, yeah. The speaker standing here is not telling the truth. Nelson Mandela, during our time, never got 200 billion.
Honorable Member.
He's not telling the truth.
200 million, Honorable Vena. You'll catch up, don't
Honorable
worry.
Members.
Withdraw.
Honorable
You'll catch up, don't worry. You'll catch up.
Withdraw the
Take-
lie.
it'll
Honorable
take
Kasim.
time.
The lie.
Honorable Werner, Honorable Kasim, please.
Yes.
Just a moment, just to rule on this one. This is a point of debate. There is no order you are raising. And the second thing, if matters of Nelson Mandela Metro are raised, let's listen to them, because we've got time ample enough as political parties to debate. So I would like to request that let's progress with the debate now, and then when you've got another time to debate, you talk on your points. Otherwise, order is not sustained.
Honorable Deputy Speaker, the second point of dishonesty that I wanted to deal with through you to the Honorable Premier is the claims around jobs. The Honorable Premier, in your State of the Province address, bragged about 1,000 permanent jobs being created at the new Boardwalk Mall. and those are not new jobs. They were relocated jobs from establishments at the Summerstrand Village complex, many of them relocating to the Boardwalk Mall. But the dishonesty doesn't stop there. Honorable Mahashela spoke about 144,000 additionally employed persons from the third quarter of the previous financial year to the third quarter of the current financial year. And this is where we must not be disingenuous if we really want to deal with the issue of jobs. Because we all know that hundreds of thousands of jobs were put on hold because of a national state of disaster that told people they cannot go to work during COVID. So the better comparison, Honorable Deputy Speaker, is from the fourth quarter 2019, just before COVID, to the fourth quarter of 2022. And in the fourth quarter of 2019, unemployment in the Eastern Cape sat at 39.5%, and in the fourth quarter of 2022, unemployment has grown to 42.1%, which means there are more unemployed South Africans in the Eastern Cape today than there were pre-COVID. Now, we know that we were not going to regain those jobs overnight. And therefore, it's important to look to provinces that were really able to recover. What are they doing? Today, we had the quarterly labor force outcomes on unemployment and new job entrants. 169,000 jobs were created in the economy, 167,000 jobs from the Western Cape alone. Now let us examine why. And I'm going to start with the greatest issue affecting our people through you, Honorable Deputy Speaker, which is load shedding. Because you claimed that we must look at rooftop PV, solar, and we need to find ways to encourage our people in this respect. But I found nothing from any of the debate of what are we actually going to do to encourage people. And let me direct you, Honorable Premier, through the Honorable Deputy Speaker, to what is happening in the province that created 167,000 of the 169,000 jobs that were created. Number one, in the city of Cape Town, the city is a whole 2 levels of load shedding behind the rest of the country, which means if we are on load shedding level 2, there's no load shedding in Cape Town. Number 2, the city of Cape Town is the first city that actually pays users with solar rooftop PV to buy electricity from them back into the grid. Now, I was expecting, Honorable Deputy Speaker, that some of these solutions we can implement constructively within our municipalities within the province, because it's all good and well to stand at a podium and say, let's encourage our people to do something, but we need to provide incentives that's going to create a business environment that is going to create jobs. But it goes further, because a lot was said about water, sewerage, etc., essential services to our people. In the Western Cape, 89 million rand was put aside for backup generators for treatment and supply of water services, which means that when there is load shedding, those essential services, water reticulation, sewage treatment, can still continue. 1 billion rand over 3 years to secure diesel fuel to ensure essential services are not affected, to buffer schools from load shedding, and to provide poorer households with emergency power packs. Honorable Deputy Speaker, my colleague, the Honorable Vicky Knutzer, spoke very eloquently about some of the problems that we are facing. She calls it the trifecta of problems. But what I found really, really worrying is that the MEC, Zolile Williams, was bragging about a 71% access of water to our people as good progress. In the Western Cape, that access is well over 90%, approaching 100%. But here's my biggest issue, because we speak about consequence management, and this is a theme throughout our departments. The allegations around the 200,000 rand allegedly owed by the MEC for local government services is something that should shock us all. And what shocks us more is I've seen pictures of a mansion being built in Aliwal North, massive mansion. Obviously, the money is there to pay the bill. But how do you expect for your MECs to tell consumers in municipalities to pay their bills if he allegedly is not willing to do the same? But let me move on to education. My colleague Edmund van Vieren, the Honorable Edmund van Vieren, spoke about the 100 million rand that again this year is being returned to National Treasury, or unspent infrastructure money from the EIG. This follows on the 290 million rand that was unspent in the previous financial year. But the problems around education is not only in infrastructure. Our schools are not funded at the national norms. The Western Cape schools are, which shows us that even with a shrinking equitable share, it can be done. Now, we went on school visits at the beginning of this year, and we were told again how the SIM cards that were given from these massive contracts to Vodacom and so forth, to teachers, are not working anymore. We're talking about billions of rands, Honorable Premier, through you, Honorable Deputy Speaker, that has been squandered. The tablet saga around Sizwa Africa, squandered. We warned you about this. The money of our people needs to go where they need it most. And I would like to urge, through you, Honorable Deputy Speaker, that our schools, like in the Western Cape, are funded at the national norms, but also that we are able to allocate money for the priorities where we need them. The Western Cape is going to add 1,143 additional teachers, which they've added already, and they're going to be adding an additional 430 teachers. Today, they're burning in Kliplaat because they don't have enough teachers. Let us take the money where it's needed. We don't need money squandered on massive ad hoc programs that your MEC has embarked on. Let's take the GEN project for an example. GEN Consulting, the LACE program. GEN Consulting, the same company that has allegedly funded your provincial conference here in the Eastern Cape. If we took that 200 million rand and provided that for schools to be able to resource themselves and shield themselves from solar, we will be able to make a real difference to the teaching environment at our schools. Again, we have textbooks, last bought in 2016 with a 5-year lifespan, that are not going to be replaced over the MTF because the money hasn't been allocated accordingly. In the Western Cape, Honorable Deputy Speaker, Saxon C Junior High School was fully constructed in 65 days within its 40 million rand budget. And this shows us that the money that is being unspent for infrastructure in the Eastern Cape can be spent better. But it's not going to happen, Honorable Invoko, just by having another supervisory council. It's going to happen if we have real game-changing policy changes. One example of that is to ensure that we can have infrastructure money being spent by schools that can prove that they are financially responsible and they can spend that money better themselves. Because clearly, year after year, we are sending money back to the national fiscus. The Department of Health, Honorable Deputy Speaker, and I mean this one, I'm sure the Honorable Premier have seen that the MEC Meth has really given up. She's given up. She only speaks NHI for 13 minutes, NHI. Nothing about what is being done in the department.
2 minutes.
Nothing about the issues that are confronting our people. And the Honorable Jane Cowley spoke about it very eloquently. We have hospitals without food, without blankets, without beds for our patients, without services for our people, clinics, forensic laboratories that are breaking down. And yet the MEC, your MEC, Honorable Premier, stands for 13 minutes and says NHI. NHI is not going to be the silver bullet that saves all of us. We need to ensure that our people have quality health services, and to do that, we need to ensure that, number one, there's consequence management. Because cadre deployment and a lack of consequence management means, and as the Honorable Jane Cowley pointed out, an increase in medical legal claims, because people cannot do their job efficiently, and administrators cannot administer our institutions correctly. And then on crime, and the Honorable Bobby Stevenson spoke very eloquently about, and I would say really tragically, about the level of crime that our people are confronted with. And again, we don't have any new solutions from our province. Now, we acknowledge that SAPS is a national competency. We acknowledge that. And SEPs, our people cannot rely on them anymore. And that is why the Western Cape, as a province, has taken it upon themselves to introduce their own initiatives. I heard one of the speakers of the ANC speaking about cameras that can pick up license plates. I think it was the Honorable Mahashela. That is happening in the Western Cape. In the Western Cape, you must be careful. If you want to go and visit your girlfriend or boyfriend in the Western Cape, we will see where your vehicle has gone. Because we know where you are going. It does not happen in the Eastern Cape. We have drone technology being used, as the Honorable Stevenson has spoken about. We have 1,200 recruited,
Thank you very much,
trained and
Honourable Member.
deployed LEAP officers. And in closing, Honorable Deputy Speaker,
Right on
the
that
ANC's internal poll shows the ANC at 40%. It's dropping
Your
fast. You
time
better
is up.
listen now, or next
Thank you,
time it will be
Honourable
you on this
Trustee.
side of the podium. Thank you, Honorable Deputy
Thank you
Speaker.
very much. I will now invite African National Congress, Honorable Manelu City. 15 minutes.
Mahlomo.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. Let me greet yourself, the Honorable Premier, Chair of Chairs, members of the Executive Council, members of the Provincial Legislature, the people of the Eastern Cape. Honorable Deputy Speaker, as I extend my greetings to this august House, I must state that really we came here today and the people of the Eastern Cape are attentively watching and listening to us, expecting a debate on the state of the province. I'm not sure Ngalendo of our honorable colleagues in blue who listen to their own views in their imaginary soap, like the attempt by Honorable Bang, who wants to lead from the opposition benches, go to an insignificant minority. Now, Honorable Banga, through you, Deputy Speaker, is desperately attempting to escape being sent back to lead the opposition in Nelson Mandela, as he trashes the theory of the importance of theory. To him, practice must be without any theoretical formulation. Well, unless ufunda kincwadi kaMaster. I hear we are Pindela Pop. By the way, Honorable Speaker, we want to congratulate the DA for their successful provincial conference. Indeed, the DA elected a white fellow as its core constituency. We're not surprised there.
Exactly.
In the DA, the political and administrative power is reserved only for the white male. It's black votes for white power. Siyani understand? Siyanicela ke ningayenzi lando ye-EFF, where they went to convene a conference only for one man, the commander-in-chief of imaginary military forces. Why change? What happened to the will of the people? But again, the fighters and our honorable members of the EFF sat here, basixoxela ithele, savi gossip, bathetha ngendoda, but we came here for the sopa, not the men of Lubabalo. So we won't be entertaining any of that gossip. In fact, it may distract us from the real issues. The people of the Eastern Cape and many parts of South Africa are expecting us to critically engage on the contents of the State of the Province address, as delivered by the Premier. Not some fictitious imaginations, imibono neziqu. And our opposition did today, they did, unsurprisingly, just that. They gave us their own fictitious imagination, gave us the Western Cape State of the Province address, and others dealt with the man, not the state of the province. Well, honorable members, ayilo xesha lokwenza intsomi eli. Koko lelo kuza nezisombululo kwiingxaki abantu bakuthi abajongene nazo. The people correctly expect us to outline in detail how the bold pronouncements by the Premier will be translated into tangible program. And we're expecting the various departments, when they come here for the policy speeches, to do just that. Kungako ke, we are surprised that honorable members would, out of the collective that is leading government, expect that this one man must be across the province, meeting everyone, resolving all problems. Endaweni yoba nincome into yoba isikhokelo sikaPremier lubabalo Oscar Mabuyane sathumela abantu in the form of Honorable Mvoko to go and listen and address the business people of Enoch Mgijima, and swiftly, and Twiza was one of those, Honorable Bank. Sincoma into yoba ngaba xa kukho ingxaki indwe emalahleni, the collective as led by Honorable Premier delegated the Honorable MEC Konsiwe to go and listen to the people of Indwe. Isn't that prioritization of our people's problem? Isn't that a decisive action to resolve the people's problem? Nifuna ntoni? Kufuneka sohlule xa sifuna abantu bakuthi ingxaki zabo zisombululwe okanye xa nifuna indoda enye. Sisesinike. Honorable Speaker, on last week Friday, the Honorable Premier detailed a good story of progress, a visible good progress of the leadership of the ANC. A detailed story of good progress that was anchored on the account of the road we have traveled thus far and what constitutes the plans of the ANC government in changing the socio-economic conditions of our people. It is not just progress. We want to emphasize that indeed it was good progress. Now, this good progress comes despite the challenges of crime that the Honorable Premier reflected on in the SOPA. It is good progress because the Premier did not miss an opportunity to take the province through measures to be implemented through the Department of Safety and SABS in fighting crime, including gender-based violence. Now, I understand it's not impossible, Honorable Zinti Londo, but for her benefit, makaqaphele pha ku page 36 ukunyuka. Kula printed version yesop. Now, it is astonishing, honorable members, that the speakers from the EFF come to this august house and claim there has been no progress. Kodwa, Honorable Van, through you, Deputy Speaker, the 1,509 smallholder farmers that are benefiting from the 91 informal infrastructural projects would differ with you. Klaus City, there have been no progress because they are beneficiaries of the progress and the good story of this government. The 3,009 youth-owned businesses that are benefiting from Uskalo Youth Fund would differ with you. Klaus Sima Apa, which there has been no progress. Ngumzekelo nje wabantu abathi baqhamle kumsebenzi owenzwa nguRhulumente we-African National Congress. Honorable members, we witnessed here how all the members that came and spoke congratulated the 2022 matric pass rate on their achievement. Yet, Kange Stephen Omnye from our opposition benches congratulating the Department of Education and government on that product. Xa sekukubi sithi ngurhulumente, xa kukuhle ayinamntu yimani isuka ezulwini. Now, Honorable Bang, what you are shamefully put on, Honorable Banga, through you, Deputy Speaker, what Honorable Banga is shamefully missing is that under the apartheid government, the provisioning of electricity was for the tiny minority. Now, under the democratic government of the African National Congress, Eskom is providing electricity to the majority of South Africans, including rural areas and informal settlements, which were neglected by the apartheid government. Now, the reference that Eskom is was functioning better under apartheid is basically an ideological wobbling and is embarrassing. In fact, Honorable Stevenson, the Honorable Duba, can take you through how the inherited white administration in the PETLC led to the problem that we have and the disposal of power station in the PETLC. Honorable Bobby will take you through there. In the past weeks, many people of the province were affected by disastrous floods, which left many homeless as their houses were washed away. Now, as the caring and responsive government of the people, by the people, we did not only end in expressing messages of solidarity and condolences. Not only was the leadership of the African National Congress present, but the government of the African National Congress was in Komani. As an example, 227 temporary residential units were delivered to the affected families. Sithetha nje zimile ezo zindlu zethutyana whilst we are working on a more permanent solution. Yet, honorable members, they come here and claim there has been no progress in the province. Bavela phi nathi si. Honorable members, the government has an inherent transformative and restorative responsibility to redress historical injustices. And we appreciate that over the decades of the precarious rule of the illegitimate, oppressive apartheid government, the dignity of the people of this land was eroded. Now, that's why the government of the ANC, through the Honorable Premier, has invested in infrastructural development. I hear Comrade Madikizela did not hear how the Premier plans on investing in infrastructure, but Comrade Sibula came here and spoke about the budget that was put aside for road infrastructure. And if you bothered to look through the state of the province address, you would have seen the pronouncements by the Premier on the road construction, on the water and ICT infrastructure. Now, I'm not sure about Sifuna AEP. Now, honorable members, the Honorable Madikizela speaks of programs in the Department of Human Settlement of Public Works. Ndiyafuna ukutsho ke ayilolifa lakwaMadikizela. The NEC is going to come here and outline the program of public works. Premier was speaking to the broader programs and highlights of his state of the province. And then honorable members, when the private sector comes to the province, again, Ayoman, it's because of it's a product of an investment that has been done deliberately so by this government. This government has held numerous investor conferences to attract private sector investment that has led to jobs. Now, it did not just happen, and we need you to appreciate it. That's why, Honorable Kasim, we are proud of the 1,044 jobs that are coming into the province. But we know you will not appreciate it because it did not happen in the Western Cape and it does not benefit the white minority. Now, the people of the province appreciate it, and that's whom we seek to serve. We are still on the state of the province of the Eastern Cape. As shared in the State of the Province address of the Premier, we have delivered 5,338 houses, 2,203 benefited women, 483 benefited young people, 134 benefited people living with disabilities, and 16 military veterans. We are planning on improving this situation for the better. Over the past week, we have met with various stakeholders, which included military veterans. The purpose is to continue engagements to find lasting solutions on the human settlement matters in the province. Kulo nyaka of decisive action to resolve challenges of our people. The department continues to implement the following broad policy priorities. We are upscaling housing opportunities with special focus on destitute and vulnerable groups. We are working on systematically unblocking historically blocked projects, accelerated registration and issuing of title deeds to our homeowners, increased empowerment opportunities for our SMME, upgrading our informal settlement, and the continuous use and application of innovative and sustainable building technology. Honorable Deputy Speaker, we have established the NEC MMC Forum, where we aim to reinforce the coordination of government work as it relates to human settlement needs of our province. Having detailed this government work, no one can dare say this is not a good story to tell. And indeed, the ANC leads and the ANC lives. Thank you very much.
Very much. Thank you very much, Honorable Manilu City.
Usheshe
Thank you very
watsho.
much. Order, honorable members. Thank you very much, honorable member. Just before we conclude the debate, honorable members, that was the last presentation. Let me take this opportunity to give the response that we have promised when it comes to issues of orders that were raised. Honorable members, we must indicate that this is the organ and the creature of the Constitution, this legislature, and therefore rules apply. I must just remind members that Honorable Banga raised an issue in terms of Rule 97, subsection 2. Then we are reading it with Rule 92, subsection 2, which states that a member may not contravene the provisions of the ethics of the legislature when speaking in the House or committee of the legislature. Then referred to the Code of Ethics Clause 6.2, which states that, and I quote it, a member may not contravene or promote the contravention of any provision of the Constitution. The statement by the member to shut down schools in terms of the Constitution is in contravention of Section 29, subsection 1 of the Constitution, which states that, and I want to quote it, everyone has a right to basic education, including adult basic education. And I also want to refer honorable members to Rule 7, the integrity of the legislature. Though we understand that you've got rights to debate, to be critical, and raise all matters, because this is a house of debate, and alternative policy provisions are coming through the flow of discussions. But a member may maintain and strengthen integrity of the legislature and refrain from any acts or omission of which will bring the legislature into disrepute. A member must respect, uphold, and adhere to the standing rules and policies of this legislature, and may not act in a manner which will bring the name of the legislature into disrepute. Or a member may not contravene the standing rules. I've noted, honorable members, that members are standing up on a point, on a rule that is not prescribed in this rule book. And they don't have any rules in front of them. But because we are a democratic legislature, at times we listen more than we can direct. But we are going to organize through the technical team an urgent induction so that members can be refreshed about these provisions. Thank you very much. Otherwise, the debate was very healthy and promoting the essence of this House. At that end of the debate, honorable members, that concludes the discussion on the matter and the business for the day, and the House will adjourn until Wednesday, the 1st of March, 2023 at 2:15 for the reply by the Premier. Am I right? Yes.
Can I have a raise of
The House is adjourned.
Nkosi Siphoki, Nkosi Mahlomo.